What's up? How's it going? Back again for another hobby jam. This time I'm just going to be focusing on this individual model here. I may jump around to some of our other possessed, but for the most part I want to try and put a good dent onto this guy here. Let's get OBS out of the studio mode so I have a better look at what's going on here. Perfect. How's it going, Pyro? What's crackin'? Gonna start with washing down these metal components. They're a bit too bright. The backpack ports are actually okay, but the trim is a bit bright. So we'll hit it with the old reliable Nuln Oil. You hobbying today, Pyro? Or just hanging? Either way, I appreciate the company. Let's see if we can darken this down a bit. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Lost a game in Warhammer Underworlds, eh? I imagine the game on Steam is what you're referring to, right? The video game of Underworlds, or the you getting in a game on the tabletop? How's it going, Margaret? Thanks for stopping by. Ah, enjoying the Acolyte, eh? It's good to take a break from the old tabletop war games every now and again. The Acolyte is something I haven't really been following. I'm suffering from a bit of Star Wars apathy, to be honest. Just kind of not pleased with the content as of late. Though I did enjoy, which show was it? Andor. I thought Andor was pretty awesome. Most impressive. Definitely not staying in the lines with regards to this trim, so we'll see how it turns out. Might have to do a bit of touch-ups if it starts pooling in some areas. Oh, is that right, Pyro? Playing a game of Underworlds against the store manager. It's like fighting against a gym leader. Very impressive. I enjoyed Shadespire quite a bit when that's what Underworlds was called, or when that's the first version of Underworlds, Shadespire. I don't know. I went to a few organized events at my local Games Workshop. I think I got a trophy. I don't think I was first place though, but I got like maybe third or top three or something. It was fun. My point in telling the story. I'm not trying to brag. I mean, I'm incredibly humble. Okay, my point in telling the story is that I was quite an enjoyer of Warhammer Underworlds, but then after that first expansion happened and it turned into whatever followed Underworlds, I kind of became disheartened with the game because my warband that I don't know, I was very attached to, I suppose, is what it was. I converted them. I converted those Stormcast to make them a bit more personal to me. So my Stormcast warband wasn't the same as everyone else's, and that warband just, I don't know, it felt like they were devalued by what's coming on the horizon. The power creep of it all saw them fall to the wayside, and I felt bad, because then my cards were available to other factions, but better. I don't know if that's how Shadespire is currently, or if maybe they fact some things. But that is my biography of my journey with Shadespire, or Underworlds. It was the first Stormcast warband. Steelheart, something or other. Steelheart's warband. Pretty sure it's from the starter set. Might have to give these ports a little bit of a wash just for definition. Just for the sake of definition. Just catching up on chat now. Oh yeah, that's more than fair, Margaret. More than fair. Super Cosmic Space Magnet. How's it going? Thanks for checking out the stream. You're painting a Possessive Grimgore Ironhide model. Possessive. To run as a Mega Boss in Age of Sigmar. Nice. Nice. I'm not perfectly familiar with the Age of Sigmar range, so I don't know exactly what you're painting, but I like the way you described it. Okay, so while that dries, or continues to dry, I think maybe it's a good time to put on some bone colors, perhaps? I do want to touch up the demon flesh just a bit. But the blends are looking pretty good, I think. Pretty smooth. Smooth as eggs, some may say. Sonic music is here, eh? Sonic. Sonic. The memes are strong. Yeah. Sonic music. Yeah, it's a Sega Saturn playlist today. We'll see what comes. I don't really check them out beforehand. But they're, like 90% good vibes. You get the odd track that's a bit weird. Oh, I gotta paint his nails. We gotta get his nails did. Very important. Okay, he's gonna have some of these spikes here. Obviously, it'll be bone color. About the size of a wingless demon prince. Oh, your AOS orc model. Well, orc sounding model. A Mega Boss? Yeah, Mega Boss sounds like an orc model for sure. But the Possessed feel like a bit of that old school Just Goodwin and Grimdark feel. Yeah, I can get behind that. It seems like modern era GW seems to respect those designs still, which is nice. Maybe to a fault. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I was looking at the Chosen kit the other day on the GW store. Not that I'm thinking of buying any. I was just curious about the sculpts. And I noticed they're like, for the most part, almost like a one-to-one recreation. Better proportioned and more detailed and all of that. But they're pretty much a recreation of the, I think, 6th edition Chosen. Whichever ones came in the Dark Vengeance box. I just find it to be a little funny. So you really want to kind of pull on those nostalgia strings, you know? Do you remember? I remember. Huge fan of Hive Fleet Gengar? Oh, I am flattered to hear it. Thank you so much. Yeah, Gengar. The Gengar project is something I quite enjoyed. I'll circle back. I'll circle back eventually. I have some of those Leviathan box bugs to do. The Nero Tyrant and his Griblies. Along with some form of a Norn creature I want to do for Gengar. Perhaps a Mega Gengar, if you will. I think that would be super cool. Yo, Margaret's asking the real questions. That Hive Fleet on the 3rd edition Codex, that's like super, that's so iconic to me as well. Like, that's just you'd see GW paint the models that way in the rule books, and I don't know actually what that Hive Fleet is, but it should be one of the main ones, you'd think. It's got such a grimdark look. Some of the, you know, Leviathan it's fine. It's a fine looking color scheme, but it's a bit that 3rd edition color scheme. It's very acrid, you know, from Lost Planet. It looks very cool. Oh yeah, I'm a fan. I follow Modern Synthesis on the old Instagram. He does some cool conversions. It's always satisfying when people get creative with the bugs, you know? Because who's to say how they evolve, right? They could evolve in like an endless amount of ways. All the different strains and branch evolutions. Their creativity is literally like limitless. quite like this sculpt here. I mean, all the new Possessed look really good, I think. But, yeah, this guy's pose is pretty great. He's got a nice balanced composition to him. Uh-oh. Kind of got some bone color on my trim material. Oh, well. A casualty of war. Let's catch up on chat. It's almost as if you tell me to skew the color scheme because it's too grimdarky for their new image. Yeah, that's makes sense if the shoe fits, right? Wave a magic wand and get whatever you wish for. Don't worry about how achievable or practical it is. The hobby dream, did you realize with it? Wave a magic wand and get whatever you want. You know, from a hobby materials point of view, I think a high quality airbrush would be a good get. Or how about this? If we're talking about magic items, I'll have to I'll have to go back against my airbrush request. I think I'd rather have a traditional brush that just lasts forever. How about that? The bristles just don't wear out. The point never wanes over time. Oh, that would be the best. A brush with infinite durability. That's what I would want. Maybe that's a boring answer, I don't know. But the heart wants what the heart wants, right? You cannot judge a man for what he desires. Well, I guess you actually totally can, but... What's the extra bits count on the conversion kit? I think... Is it worth for extra conversions? Probably. I think you get an extra set of arms for each body. I think that's how it works out. And a few extra heads. And then... I don't think every arm can go on every Possessed because it's monopose. I mean, with green stuff, anything can go on anything, right? Obviously. So putting that aside, as the kit comes, you can't put any of their arms on any individual, but all the backpacks and heads, I'm pretty sure can go on anyone you want. So it's not the best, but it's better than like the accursed cultists, which have no options and are monopose. And you probably could use those possessed mutations, those extra arms, for differentiating a second monopose accursed cultist squad. Because those guys are so so distinct in their posing. And if you have multiple units, I think it's going to be pretty funny looking. Kind of like multiple Screamer Killer Carnifexes, you know? It's very important to paint the toes of your models. I don't know if you guys are aware, but this is your daily reminder to paint the toes. What's the narrative flavor behind this Chaos Space Marine collection? Well, they're word bearers. I want to rep the unloved Chaos Space Marine faction, I suppose. So they're into the usual word bearers themes, demonology, sacrifice, dark rituals, all that kind of stuff. But uniquely, I suppose, there's a few distinct things with the color scheme. Like I like to make the hands gold. In the same way the Crimson Fists have red fists, I like to make my guys have gold fists to denote seniority. And as just a way to kind of make my little collection a bit more distinct from the typical word bearers. From a lore point of view, there's no demon princes in this warband. Anyone who's ascended to a demon prince is being a servant of the chaos gods, right? Doing the righteous work. It's a position of service, is how I'm kind of framing it. And then in turn, I like to imagine that because they have these demon princes, anyone who ascends enough becomes an actor for that god, whether you're a Khorne demon prince or a Tzeentch demon prince. I like to imagine that in doing that service, the warband gets a bit of extra favor and pull with their requests from the chaos gods, you know, for their dark rituals and all that stuff. Okay, I think those are all the main bone components, but these shoulder pads and greaves often have little snaggletooths on them, which is a bit annoying. So I'll have to hit those. Yeah, look, there's one right up here, right on his right leg. This looks like metal, so I missed. I missed the trim here. Oh, great. Awesome. Yeah, you know, I'm a really good painter. I don't know if you guys are aware. Some people have said pro level. This is how the magic happens. You just miss spots and you have to go back. The out-of-production Forsaken kit from Warhammer Fantasy Battles Last Edition is quite good for mutant and chaotic bits. Oh, is that right? I'll keep that in mind. That's cool. That's good to know. Not even sure what that kit is. Forsaken. I'll have to give it a look-see. Okay. Any other teeth on the trim? Yeah, there's quite a few, right? One back here. Obviously got these skulls to paint. Jeez. That's a skull, right? Yeah, it is. It's a weird one, didn't sell well. It's a very OG Warhammer Fantasy Battles in plastic. Is it like the Flagellants kit? My cultists for Word Bearers are the Flagellants kit from Warhammer Fantasy. They just had the right vibe, you know? I just feel like the Word Bearers cultists should look like they go to church, you know? I don't like them to look like militants. They should look like Resident Evil 4 cultists. The ones in the castle. That's my my vision of them. How I imagine them operating and behaving. Just a bunch of creepy dudes. It's a mix of Warriors of Chaos mixed with Chaos Spawn. Oh, that sounds like a perfect kit for those mutated appendages and accessories and all that. I'm not really sure what to do with these spikes. Probably just leave them armor color. It's probably fine. Okay, any other teeth coming out of this guy? Maybe those. Okay. Okay, and then I gotta circle back and do some metallic on his leg that I missed. How embarrassing. That's all that needs. Look, that just increases the readability tremendously. Awesome. Yeah, I'll give it a Google search later. Though if it's out of production, it might be a bit hard to find. Maybe, if I'm lucky, GW will bring it back for the fantasy stuff they're selling now. Because they brought back a few fantasy kits for the old world, right? I don't really follow the old world all that much, but I believe that's the case. Okay, where's my metallic? There it is. Metallic bottle cap. Just gonna shake this up. I'll mute myself to spare you guys the pain. We just need a little bit. I'm just gonna drop in a bit of primer, black primer as well, to darken it a bit. Just because the Dura aluminum is so bright. And I've already washed the trim at this stage, so I kind of want something darker, you know? That might be too dark. Okay, that's close to what I'm looking for. clean up that bit of skull color or bone color. And there's one other accessory, this clasp, or I don't know what to call it. The metal part that connects the skull to the chain. Oh god. You're so scared of Possessed. In a game last edition, a group of 10 one-shot a Mastodon, 40 wounds in one round of combat. Yeah, that's egregious. I hate this adage that often gets repeated of units paying for their sins of previous editions, but I feel like that phrase is applicable for Possessed. And applicable for the Disco Lord as well. It's just like they're just not as scary. In my opinion, I think if you're playing for competitive tournaments and all of that, I don't think you're taking Possessed, honestly. Unless I'm mistaken, you guys can point out if otherwise. And Possessed, like, they weren't even, like, crazy. Like, hear me out. Like, in the index of 10th edition, Possessed weren't that oppressive, in my opinion. And they got nerfed in the Codex further, and so did the Master of Possession. It's like the classic double whammy from GW. Like, I don't understand why they... How can we? How can we understand what is stupid? Whatever. You know what? Possessed are cool. Disco Lords are cool. I'm painting them. I care not. I care not for their rules. Okay, so let me close my null oil here before it not dries out, but before any accidents happen. So next, I think I want to bump up the Screamer Pink just a touch on these the upper arm here, particularly in the front and in his weak spot chest piece there. So I'm going to mix in a bit of base layer of Screamer Pink, and then just mix in a bit of Pink Horror to brighten it up just a touch. I've mixed in a bit of glazing medium, so it shouldn't be too oppressive what I'm putting on here, despite how it looks. I also haven't done this guy's black parts. His tubes and such. I'll have to do that maybe next. Kind of jumping all over the material space here. Oh, you don't know about this edition because your Warhammer friend moved out of town. That sucks. Big bummer. It's not... I don't know. It's, I like 10th edition in some aspects, and I like it less in other aspects. Look, I think you're only served better by waiting for the next edition, honestly. Because it's probably gonna get, you know, a little bit better, like one breath at a time, right? Once all the codexes of 10th edition are out, GW will restart the wheel, right? And then be like, oh, we're changing so many things, and, you know, we've learned from the releases of 10th edition that so many things are problematic, and now we're correcting those things. And then they'll position it to us that way, and then we'll be like, yeah, those things are bad, and then then you start buying books again. The only thing that sucks by waiting is that GW's prices never cease to stop rising. That does seem to hold true, and it sucks. Because I think those price increases are like way in excess of inflation, and they continue to report like, oh, we've earned more this quarter than any other quarter previously. Look at all the bonuses we're giving our employees. Which is good for the employees, but it feels weird when they're like, oh, we need to raise prices again because it's just too hard out here. So I had a bit of glazing medium from last night's stream on my palette, but there was some blue mixed in, so I got a bit of a bluish tone to this bone layer. It's kind of interesting. Bit more of a neutral. It's not as warm as the bone colors are typically. Wasn't the bonus only from 2 price rises ago? Maybe? I don't think so. I think, unless I have imagined it or projected it. I think I saw an article from Spiky Bits, or maybe a post from the Outer Circle, speaking to another price rise, or speaking to another kind of announcement where GW was speaking to giving out bonuses. Maybe it was from an earnings report, and those guys, you know, make their posts about it. I will call this guy El Diablo. That's his name. Because of the horns, you know? You know what I realize? I realize I missed a whole bunch of bone components on his face. And his gorget, or, well, not really a gorget, but... Yeah, these are important pieces to hit right by the model's head. It's building time for you, Pyro? What are you building? Yeah, this is definitely not a guy you want to kiss right here, you know? Look at that gnarly mouth. Gotta mix in some more skeleton bone with the steel legion to brighten it up a bit. I want to try and get a pretty good blend on these horns. I feel like there's such a focal point on this guy. Such a unique headpiece. Like GW increasing their prices more and more as 3D printers just go down in cost and the quality of their output only increases and the performance only gets better, like time to print and all of that. It's like gonna create this. I feel like it's inevitable. Like, at what point are people just gonna say, like, okay, it costs X thousands of dollars if prices continue to increase just to make an army, just to buy the army, never mind the paints and all of that. Or I can just spend a few hundred to get a 3D printer and then print it for like pennies on the dollar. Just print the army. Right? I feel like if I was starting in the hobby now, I would already make that calculus. It's kind of it is like, look, plastic is easier to work in. That is a truth of the world, but resin's not that bad, and the resin you get from 3D printers is like way better than that fine cast stuff, right? And probably better than the Forge World stuff, honestly. I bought many of my let's say many of my Forge World models do not have certificates of authenticity, but I have a few that I bought from Forge World, and compared to a 3D printed model, it's not. I don't know. There's no distinct difference for me. Yeah, look at these horns, or these spikes. They're starting to really look pretty good now that they have some layers on them. What's up, Francois Marion? Can I please turn up the gain a little bit? Sure. My microphone setup here is not the best for streaming. There, I turned up the gain a little bit. That should let me know if it's better. And often I'm looking downwards and my microphone's facing for like recording videos, basically. It's facing forward and I'm looking down. That may be a factor. I'm also not the loudest talker naturally. I'm just kind of a kind of quiet guy who likes to paint, you know? But that microphone volume should be a bit better. That's great, thanks. Perfect, perfect. Excellent. Paint your model's fingernails, very important. They need to look dangerous, you know? Like they could slice right through ceramite with their AP1 fingernails. The pinky doesn't matter too much. It's kind of in shadow anyways. This side matters a bit more. Working on 10 Deathwing Sternguard. Nice. I do like those new Sternguard sculpts. I only have the ones that came in Leviathan, but they still look pretty good. I absolutely love the Deathwing color scheme. That beige, like bleached bone color against the rich green robes. It looks so good. Maybe that's why I like Bealtan also. Probably. Oh, there's little spikes on the back tentacle here. We'll just hit it with a bit of our bone color. So this is a bit of a weird material. Not material. Words are hard. Not so much a bit of weird material, so much as two components that are sandwiched together that are of the same material. Maybe those spikes should have remained as metallic. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Probably bump up the brightness on the skull to help it stand out. That might do the trick. Then washes, we'll have to carry it from there. Am I squeamish about using Legends units? Absolutely not. I am not what you would call Legends phobic, okay? I'm pro Legends. Feels bad to me when people don't like Legends models. Are we playing at a tournament? Then if not, like, who cares, right? Feels bad, right? Like you have a... I mention in videos every so often this kind of adage of, like, the worst sin of the hobby is, like, punishing the efforts that hobbyists have put in to, like, realize the game of previous editions, right? And I know to a certain degree Legends is unavoidable, right? Like, GW can't always make models that were once in the CAD system, or they're too old or of bad quality. They can't just sell a model forever. I get it. And in that sense, Legends is like a necessary thing, right? But the stigma it carries is so bad. Like, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Too many, at least in my play group, too many casual players are, like, adhering to these, like, competitive standards. Because it sucks. I mean, Legends is already, like, flawed in its execution, right? Like, GW doesn't carry Legends properly. Like, I'm pretty positive there's no Legends rules for Brayarth Ashmantle and many of the Badab characters, which is, like, mondo lame. But there's, like, worse sins, so to speak, with regards to Legends follow through. Like, how about the World Eater's Army of 9th edition? Or, I guess, 8th edition, let's call it. Right? There should be rules for the World Eater's Army that was built, modeled, and painted, and realized for, like, up until 8th edition. And sure, you know what? In your tournament setting, only the modern, current iteration is allowed for World Eaters. But I hate... Like, you know, any one of us, I feel, you know, could have made a World Eater's Army during that time. World Eaters are cool. Like, people like them. They're popular. Then you'd see, like, Cope posts, or maybe not Cope, but, like, people carrying water saying, like, you can just make a Chaos Space Marine warband with those models. It's a good thing. And it's like, oh, man. Not like this. Just catching up on chat now. Is that the case? There is another Legends unit that only supersedes almost all others. One of the most strikingly gorgeous models that you can possibly put on the table. Is that right? What model would that be? What model is that, Super Cosmic Space Magnet? Okay, well, we got a bit of a missed spot here for these fangs. Okay, that'll help a bit. Starting to make that chest look a bit more interesting. That's cool. Get some of that pink horror going again now that this is dry. Oh, that's certainly pink. The Vampire Hunter / Raider. Interesting. I'll have to give that a looky-loo. Not exactly looking to add too much more to the Bealtan army. I don't want it to be a vast collection. I like the idea of... I acquired a cheap kind of... Oh, yeah, it's a relatively cheap collection of Eldar. As a foundation of the army, like a bunch of Guardians and Wraiths, but I kind of like just having them as like the Phoenix Force. I like the meme of it. I think it's fun. And if I were to have a centerpiece, I like the avatars. Those are pretty cool. I like the idea of eventually all the avatars having models. That's a fun possibility. Oh, geez. I'm seeing other little bone elements I missed. How annoying. How annoying. That's right here. Another one. Look at that. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. A bit of trim here that was missed. Wow. Cleaning up as we go. Also layer up as we go. Okay, so horns are looking pretty good. Demon flesh is looking pretty good. Okay, so let's get some Seraphim Sepia. Sepia? There it is. And I like to wash the bone elements just, well, on the lower half or lower third, kind of where they start meeting the body they're sprouting from. Just to add a bit of, I don't know, I think it makes it look more dynamic. Kind of creates a little bit of a enhanced wet blend. Not wet blend, enhanced blend. So I'll just start kind of messily painting it in. The teeth, it's not exactly obvious. Such small components, but yeah, these ones are perfect. And these like mouths, I'll just do everything. Maybe that placing the wash here might help separate these two a little bit. Maybe I'll go a bit heavier because of that. And what's the fingernails? Right. Maybe they're not fingernails. Maybe they should be called talons. Maybe calling them fingernails makes them sound dumb. His fingernails. I'm sure in the GW painting a possessed Marina video, they don't call them fingernails. I do want to add a little bit of brighter colors on these teeth on the backpack. I think that'll help make that accessory pop. So I'll try and dab them with the Army Painter skeleton bone. Nice. Cool. Yeah, I think that's adequate. Alright, what colors are we looking at next? Or materials? I always think in terms of materials. Oh, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. As per usual. We got these accessories on his collar. And the ones on his mouth don't matter too much. But I should layer them up with some skeleton bone. And I think I can do this while the wash is on. Yep, looks fine. And this is his face, so maybe we can go a bit brighter. Kind of want the face is more important, right? You kind of want to push the colors, I think. Oh yeah, he's looking real gross. That's better. More in focus for you guys. Cool. Cool. I'm liking how he's shaping up. Okay. Remaining materials are black tubing. He doesn't have a lot, but you can see one here. And maybe a bit of soft seals. Actually, this looks kind of good with the demonic flesh. So he doesn't have many soft seals either. A little bit of a error here to fix. Okay, that's good. So I guess we'll just break out the black paint. Nothing fancy, just Vallejo Game Color Black. And I like to go over top of this with Green Stuff World, I think, Ink Tensity Black. No, it's Scale 70, Scale Color. Ink Tense Black. It makes the soft seals and tubes very shiny, which I think is a interesting look. I think it adds a kind of materiality that sets it apart on the model. Something I do on the Firekeepers as well. And on the Loyalists, I find the Loyalists are more plain, right? So they're hurting for the lack of materials. Chaos might have a bit too many materials, though, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's really just that one tube on this guy. Which is, like, I'm okay with it. I am fine with that. We'll let it dry and then hit it with the Ink Tense Black. And just take a look at them for now. So are we ready for glowing elements? What time are we at? Okay, still got some time. I'm aiming to wrap up the stream by 9:30. Try to keep the stream length from going on too long so that you can do more streams over more days, not get burnt out, that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, I think we're ready for some edge highlighting. I don't like the edge highlight metals because I think they already stand out fairly well. And he doesn't have too many armor panels, which is a plus. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see if I can resurrect any of this paint on my palette. That kind of like a pink color, which I think might be okay. Don't know if I like that. So I just read your message, Cosmic Space Magnet. The chat bot might shoot you. You can try it. I think only moderators can post links regardless of chat bots, though. But yeah, give it a shot. I mean, I'm not against people sharing links unless it's like fake people trying to get people to click on ads or whatever. but we don't have it. We don't have that problem. Pretty sure everyone here is real. So I mixed a bit of a dark sea gray here with the armor color, just to get something a little less saturated. I think this will look better for an edge highlighting color. Not too many edges on the armor, right? Just these weird, I don't know what to call them, foot covers. Yeah, just the foot covers and maybe his butt, the butt plate, the very important butt plate. You're heading out, Pyro? Well, you take care, and thanks for tuning in. Your company is always appreciated. I'm going to square up the panels there and then do the same on this backpack. There are some edges on the back behind his helmet, but honestly, those areas aren't all that visible, so I'm not so inclined to give them any attention. I just don't feel like they're worth it, you know? Your backpack's looking better, nice. And I guess the only other armor edge are these weird protrusions. On his forearm here. Oh, not so much of an edge there, right? Okay, we'll clean this up a bit. We'll make it look good. We'll make this work. If it's any help, Super Cosmic, you are more than welcome to post links of your hobby work in my Discord server. There's a channel for it called Manufactorum, where people kind of throw out their, their whips or their finished stuff. And get a bit of that Inktense black going. So I'm just going to darken this chest, these lines here. I'm not exactly sure what they are. Are they cables? Not quite certain. Okay, I think we're ready for some glowing green bits. Final touches. Maybe a little bit of edge highlighting on the bone areas first. Nothing fancy. They have some obvious edges, which I think really lend themselves to a bit of quick edge highlighting. Oh yeah, way better. Look at that. Okay. And his fingernails. This is just straight skeleton bone. Oh, now they look real sharp. AP1 for sure. These ones don't have any obvious edges, really. Not in the same way, at least. Kind of round, fairly round edges. Okay, let's get the glowing green stuff. Well, that's bad phrasing. We'll paint our glowing green elements. I got some white ink and where's my toxic mist? There it is. Oh, you're dying from the weather? Yeah, it's I'm feeling rather warm as well. I need to get my I need to dab my forehead sweat like a surgeon. Okay. We have some toxic mist here. I'm going to apply this first, and then if we're feeling crazy, we'll do some white ink. I'm going to mix in a bit of flow improver as well. That seemed to help a little bit. This paler pigment, kind of whitish, is a bit chalky, not the smoothest. Yeah, 38 degrees is very warm. It's hot. Some may even say it's hot. Okay, knee pad for sure. Look, the flow is definitely improved, but the coverage is a little worse. To be expected. Okay, we got a area up here. Any other modeled details? Backpack for sure, but nothing on his legs. Beyond that one knee, anyways. Alright, so we got this shoulder pad, which is a little more elaborate. He needs to be glowing with unholy power. That's the goal, anyways. Uh-oh. I just noticed I have not... I've edge highlighted that horn, but haven't done much in the way of layering on that back edge. Let's just add a bit of color there. Yeah, better for it. Okay, we'll continue with the green stuff. These flames for sure. This is awkward. Where can I brace? Okay, we'll use his horns. Glowing eyes for sure. I don't know about a glowing mouth, though. Yeah, definitely gonna need 2 coats for these, and then want to layer in some white ink towards the bases to make it a bit more intense. And then his actual helmet lenses. We're essentially using the glowing eye lenses method everywhere. Well, it's, is that a hair? Hold on. Hold on, what is this? How annoying. Okay, so it's taking a bit of time to dry between coats, so we'll let that sit for a bit and begin the decaling process. It's quite quite enjoyable. I don't know how well that comes across on camera. It looks like barely at all. Just one row of runes. That might be insufficient. We'll see. Then all I'm doing is slicing them up so I can get individual symbols. Oh man, seems like either the flow improver or the toxic mist or both has kind of resurrected the white ink that was underneath there. This is much brighter. Which I can work with. It's certainly unexpected. Jesus. Okay. It's a fairly, like, boring kind of workflow for these glowing runes, but I like the look. This one might be a bit too big. Larger than I'd like. Phrasing, am I right? Yeah, this one has the right sort of weight for, I think, a shoulder pad. Probably leave that shoulder pad on the front. We'll put one here on the back side. And put one on his butt. You gotta have protective wardings on your butt. This one needs a bit of trimming. Will you ever do a full army showcase in the future? That is something I should do. I did a very like high effort thematic one for Gengar, which I really shouldn't be trying to do for all my collections. Like the Firekeepers could I could simply just set up a camera like how I have now and just hold up the models, get some wide shots, or edit in some wide sweeping shots of like the larger models as I'm talking, or the larger collections or groups or units. I should, yeah, I definitely should do that. So you know what? I will, yeah. You know what? To answer your question, I will do an army showcase. Thematic ones are much more effort, so I wouldn't go so intense with them. But oh, there we go. Oh God. Disaster. Okay, we need to do a bit of cleanup here. Yeah, that flow improver might have been a mistake. Just really delayed the drawing time. What time are we at? Yeah, chilling in an underground bunker sounds ideal. I won't lie to you. Yeah. Where are we? Okay, I think any more than this, we're getting kind of crazy. Unlike the Legionaries, the Possessed have a lot more going on already. So I don't think I need to lean so hard on the decals. So I'm glad I didn't prep more than this. I usually don't cut enough or prep enough, and then this time there's about one wasted, I guess. It's not too bad. And I have loads of these Word Bearers transfers anyways. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is hit these with some microcell. And by these I mean the decals. And I'll try and do a second pass of Toxic Mist, and then we'll start trying to put some Hex Wraith on before I wrap up the stream, but it's looking like I might have goofed the floof here, and I might have to do the Hex Wraithing tomorrow. Which sucks, because I feel like it's kind of fun to have a model done from start to finish. Not, I mean, this wasn't from start, though, but you know what I mean? I like the before and after, the satisfying reward that comes from being like, oh, look at this. Hobby session wrapped up. This model's done, except for basing. Feels good. Wonder if I can get this decal on him somewhere so it doesn't go to waste, you know? Maybe right here. Maybe that's a good spot. Okay, so those are softening. I will get the toxic mist and put it on my palette. Let's see if I can just fix the coverage here a little bit. Gosh, you can really feel how chalky the pigment is on this toxic mist. Yeah, I need more drying time in between these layers of toxic mist. So I'm just going to press the decals down a little bit now that the microsol has had some time to do its thing. This is definitely a good way to ruin a brush. Okay, those look all like they have adhered. Okay, I'll grab a little bit of acrylic ink. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Look, it's a bit of an experiment. You leave room for some hobby disasters, right? I just want to brighten up the centers of these eye-looking ones. So I think once the Hex Wraith goes over top, it'll probably enhance the effect. I want to do the same thing over his real eyes. Could also be done afterwards, like after the Hex Wraith is applied as well. Sometimes you want those eyes extra bright, for the same reason as we wanted the teeth extra bright. Okay, and for the flames, they're hotter towards the base, so kind of want the flames whiter towards the bottom and more toxic mist towards the top. It's what I tried to do on the Master of Possession, and I think that guy turned out just great. Though I did layer the flame parts a little bit after the Hex Wraith went on. Yeah, this is a bit of a bummer, though. I was looking to wrap up the stream soon, but it's really just one process left, just the Hex Wraith, you know? Wonder if I should chance it. Just try and put on some Hex Wraith real quick. The decals are definitely ready, so at least I can do those. Okay, I'll tell you what. I got some green on the palette here that I can mix with the Toxic Mist. I think this is from the Master Possession, actually. Or maybe the Forge Fiend? It's from somebody. I'm going to do the darker edges of the flames. Because the flame's going to be darker towards the extent, right? Kind of like how the flame starts yellow and it goes to red, or even like a dark red in some cases. Really think the flame effects benefit from a wet blending approach. Okay, those fades seem pretty good. Pretty good. A little bit of dark green on my palette too, so I guess I must have been using that as well. Let's see, just the tips. Really, I'm just trying to buy some time for that first ink. Just don't know if it's gonna dry. Well, that's awesome, Francois. Definitely sounds like a win. Okay, I want to get the Hex Wraith going, and and if I ruin the if I ruin the white ink and the flow improver mix, I'm just gonna end the stream abruptly. Alright, where is the Hex Wraith? Here. I'm using the old formula Hex Wraith. I think it is a bit better for this purpose. We'll start with the decals, okay? And then we'll work our way to the other elements. I'm just gonna drop some Hex Wraith around these decals. It's actually unideal for them to pool up against the metal trim. It lends itself, like, it's a worse effect. Kind of ruins the effect, actually. So I'm just going to try and mitigate that now while I can. Oh God. Maybe that was just a bad spot for a decal. That one is pooled up a bit too much. Okay, those are all the decals done, right? There's one up here, one up here. Okay, let's see what happens if we put some some Hex Wraith on his knee pad. That was the first one I did, right? So reasonably, we can assume it would be dry, if any of them are dry. Okay, I think we're all right. Doesn't look like it's collecting in my brush. Cool, cool. I think we're in business. I'm actually going to use this as his knee pad as a reservoir. Uh-oh. Oh no, it's all right. We're good, we're good. No need to fret, everybody. We're okay. Nice. Okay. For the eye holes, I'll switch my brush here a little bit. Might be wise. Actually, I want a bit of a overspill. And then for the backpack, I think we'll go a little hard. We have a big area to do anyways. Oh boy. I think the dream's alive. Nice. See, sometimes you just gotta be brave and have no fear. And for these flames, if I want them to pool anywhere, I want them to pool at the bottom, or at the tops. Yeah, that wasn't dry. Okay, but we can live with that. It's not a big deal. Just glaze on a bit more around the flame head here. Try and sell an OSL kind of effect if we can. Nice. Alright, I'm feeling pretty good about this guy. Think he's looking pretty cool. Anything we want to embrighten before we wrap up the stream? Probably not that bright. Maybe something like this. I'll mix that down my palette a little bit. I'll try and hit these eye lenses. Nice. Kind of an interesting opportunity to work with the Hex Wraith as it's drawing. Definitely some room there to create some interesting blends. Okay, well, I'm a little over time here, so I'm gonna wrap up the stream, even though, you know, it's not fully dry, but you can get a picture of how he's looking, right? Pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. And we still have 9 viewers at the end of the stream. It feels like an all-time record. Look, to everyone who hung out with me until the end, you guys are the real hobby heroes. Good hustle. Good hustle. Like, I did this, you guys did your projects. Sure, it's going well. And, oh, I think my stream cut out a little bit. How awkward. Okay, it looks like it's back now. Yeah, as I was saying, thanks for tuning in until the end. I'll probably stream again tomorrow, work on another one of these Possessed boys. And, thanks to everyone who participated in chat. The company is very much appreciated.